I'm going to tell you an uncomfortable truth that you're probably not ready to hear. Making money with a strong personal brand should feel incredibly easy. All you have to do to make money with your personal brand, if you've built it the right way, is ask and people will buy. And so if you're making content and you've built a bit of an audience and you're still struggling to make money, it's not because you're missing out on some crazy sales psychology trick or some marketing hack. You're struggling to make money because your audience doesn't trust you. They either don't trust that you know what you're talking about, they don't trust that you understand their specific situation, or they don't think your solution is for them specifically. And so in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to build a personal brand so magnetic that people literally beg to buy from you. Most personal brands online today have completely forgotten the personal bit in personal branding. They're so fixated on providing value without understanding that it's not enough to provide value for an audience. Yes, you need to give them something of value in order for them to want to do business with you, but value alone will not make you sales. See, so many creators fall into this category of valuable but boring. People value you, they know that you know what you're talking about, but no one trusts you, no one likes you, and so no one wants to do business with you when you eventually ask for the sale. The answer to making more money with your personal brand is not to provide more value. And a great example of this is Alex Hormozi. A few weeks ago, he made $100 million in a day with the launch of his new book, which first of all is fucking crazy, but second of all, hilariously has resulted in a whole group of people online creating these videos breaking down his webinar or diagnosing how he was able to do it or the psychology tricks he used in order to persuade people to do business with him without understanding that the entire reason that Alex was able to make $100 million that day had nothing to do with what he did that day. The only reason that Alex made $100 million in a single day with a book launch is because we all trusted him far more than we trust any other person selling books online. And that is a direct result of everything he's done over the last few years that led up to that day. So much so that when it came to the day, all he had to do was ask, and we all handed over our credit cards more than willingly. So much so that some of us spent thousands of dollars buying hundreds of books from him, all because he gave us the opportunity to buy. And so in terms of the thing he did that day, making money was incredibly easy. All he had to do was put together the presentation and deliver it to you, and you all purchased. But the thing that these creators who are making these breakdowns, trying to figure out how Alex made $100 million in a day aren't understanding is that doing does not equal being. I could take the exact same script, the exact same slides, the exact same team and infrastructure and amount of money that he spent putting that day together. I could do all of the exact same things and achieve a tiny fraction of the results because I haven't built the brand that Alex Hormozi has built. And so if you build a personal brand the right way, making money is the easy part. You just have to ask. And so the one line that I want you to carry through the rest of this video is that personal branding is just building trust at scale. The exact same way that you'd build trust with a new friend that you just met slowly over time, you're doing that exact same thing, except you're doing it with thousands or potentially millions of strangers online all at the same time. And so all of the same rules apply, the same way that you'd have to get to know them. You'd have to understand their values and their goals and their dreams and their failures and the things that they've gone through. You would have to truly understand who that person is in order to trust them. And then once you trust them, you'll start to value them as a friend and eventually get to the point where you trust them enough to maybe do business with them or maybe go hang out with them or maybe take them on a holiday or maybe even move in together. I don't know if you need a fucking housemate or not. And so all of these things that you would do if you were trying to build a friendship with someone and build trust with someone, you are doing that same thing when you're trying to build your personal brand. And so if you think that providing more value is going to be the answer, imagine someone you just met and they refuse to let you know anything about them. They refuse to let you know anything about their story, about their upbringing, about what led them here, what their hobbies are, what their interests are, what their values are. They refuse to let you know any of those things, and all they want to do is provide value to you. You would think it's conditional. You would immediately assume this person wants something from me. This makes me feel gross. Why are they doing this? Why do they want to provide me with this value? What am I going to have to give them in exchange? It feels like a conditional relationship. Whereas if someone builds this relationship slowly with you over time, they let you know their story, they let you know their values, they slowly build that intimacy with you, then you're going to trust them so much more. And when they do provide value, you understand that it's unconditional. And then you as a person provide that value value back to them unconditionally. And so how do we take that exact same idea of building a trusting relationship with a person in real life and put it onto building trust with an audience of thousands of people online at the exact same time? There are 4 key steps to building trust. Step number 1 is that your audience needs to see you as an authority. Step number 2 is that your audience needs to relate to your story. Step number 3 is they need to admire your success and see you as a leader. And step number 4 is they need to value you. And so for the rest of this video, I'm going to walk you through each of those 4 steps so you can start implementing it into your content, building trust with your audience. And so when the time comes and you go to sell something, people are excited to buy from you. Step number 1. Demonstrate your authority. Honestly, this is something that most creators do a good job of. This is providing value. This is your whole brand's reason for being. This is the entire thing that your business is going to be built around. But the issue happens when this is all that the brand represents. And so it's not that you need to not provide value. You do need to provide value. At the end of the day, if you want to turn social media into a business, there needs to be an exchange of value. You need to provide something to the marketplace so they can give you money in return. And so as much as you can in your content, you need to demonstrate that you know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. You need to provide value so that when people think of a particular topic, they think of your name. You become the obvious choice for someone to go to when they want to learn something. And so when they want to invest in learning that thing, they will also go to you. As a general rule, people will build their impression of your paid products from what they receive in value for free. And so a lot of creators make the mistake of thinking that they need to hold back in their free content in order to make people buy their paid stuff, without realizing that if your free content is shit and doesn't actually provide value, then no one's going to magically imagine that your paid stuff is going to be any better. No, they're going to imagine that your paid stuff is exactly like your free stuff. And so as much as possible, demonstrate your authority, give value unconditionally, and give it all away. Do not hold back. In my content, I very rarely hold anything back. And the reason isn't because I'm just giving everything away. It's because I know with absolute certainty that 99% of you are never going to do business with me. Only 1% of you watching these videos are ever going to do business with me. Some creators might hear that and think, well, fuck it, what's the point? Whereas I hear that and think that's a great opportunity for me to provide value to 99% of you who are never going to do business with me, so I can impress the 1% enough that they really want to do business with me. So my videos, genuinely, all I'm trying to do is give as much knowledge as I possibly can, position myself as much of an authority as I possibly can, so 1% of you value me enough to go and do business with me. But the rest of you can walk away knowing that you learned something of value. If you watch my content, there is a very good chance that you have a skill set or a passion that you're at least a little bit, if not way above average at. And so take that skill set, take that passion and share it with the world. Show that you are an authority in the thing that you like. And if you're sitting there right now thinking, well, I don't know anything enough in order to teach it, that's just not true, because you are an authority to someone who's a couple steps behind you. Maybe you've just started your business, and so you're an authority to someone who's still working a job. Or maybe you've just made your first $10,000, so you're an authority to someone who hasn't made 1,000. Or maybe you've just lost your first 10 kilos, and so you're an authority to someone who's just beginning their weight loss journey. Or maybe you've just started investing, so you're a perfect authority for someone who thinks investing is gambling. Wherever you are on your journey, you are an authority to someone a few steps behind you. And the hilarious thing is, you may actually be more of an authority to those people than someone way ahead of them, because the person way ahead of them no longer remembers what it was like to be in that position. So someone in your position is actually way better suited to teach them because you were just there like a year ago. And so they're going to trust you more and trust your opinion more than they would someone who's 10, 20, 30 years ahead of them. By the way, if you want more help making more money with your personal brand, I've created a 33-day email course, 33 days worth of free value, all aimed at helping you make more money with your personal brand. Everything that you would possibly need is in these 33 days. All you need to do is click the top line in the description, give me your name and your email address, and I'll send you that lesson in the next 5 minutes. Step number 2, let them relate to you. This is where most creators fuck up, because they're so fixated on providing value. They're so fixated on sticking to a niche and thinking that every single piece of content needs to drive traffic to their business, without realizing that a huge component of making someone want to do business with you is relating to you enough as a person that they see some part of themselves in some part of your story. Your audience, in order to trust you, needs to see some part of themselves in some part of your story. Otherwise, they'll immediately dismiss what you've achieved and chalk it down to something that they didn't have. They'll immediately think, yeah, that's impressive that he was able to achieve that, but he had more luck than I had, or he had a better starting position than I had, or he had more money than I had, or he had this thing that I don't have. And so, yeah, that's impressive that he could do that, but I can't do that. And as soon as they think I couldn't do that, they are never going to do business with you. No matter how impressive you make your life seem, no matter how intelligent you are, no matter how much of an authority you are, if your audience doesn't relate to you, they won't see what you've achieved as possible for them. And so share your origin story, get vulnerable, let them see you as a real, living, breathing human being, and they'll trust what you say so much more. At the end of the day, we buy from people we trust. And we trust people who look and sound and act and have a history just like us. And so if you portray yourself online as this infallible, perfect character who's never struggled with anything, your audience is going to trust you because they think that you have something that they don't. Perfection. Your audience is not perfect. And so when they look at you and see nothing but perfection, they see this polished persona that you're portraying online, they'll immediately dismiss your success as something that they couldn't achieve because they don't look like you. Their life does not look like yours. They don't have this perfect daily schedule that you talk about having when in actuality, you do not have that thing. And so as counterintuitive as it feels to share the real stuff, to share the struggles, to share the failures, to share all the things that you've gone through, it may be the one thing that actually makes your audience trust you enough in order to buy from you. And it's the polarity between those two that makes your brand really addictive. And so get real, share the struggles you've been through, the fucked up things you've done, the mistakes you've made, the failures, share all of the believable steps, all of the things that you did between where your audience is today and where you find yourself now. If you can do a good job of sharing that entire origin story, your audience will trust you so much more. Step number 3, let them admire you. This is going to sound insane, but your audience needs to want to be you. You need to embody the perfect representation of the exact transformation you're trying to help your audience achieve. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to what I just said, but it's the polarity between these two that makes your brand truly addictive. If someone's able to relate to you through your origin story, but then see you as this perfect embodiment of the transformation they're trying to achieve, then they will believe that that's possible for them. A great example of this is Superman. Why do you think Superman was a country boy from Kansas? We believe in this alien with seemingly infinite powers because he was a country boy from Kansas. And so country boy from Kansas, orphan from Kansas, is a story that all of us can relate to. And so when we see Superman, this infinitely powerful being, suddenly we're able to connect the dots and see ourselves in him. And so you have to show some of the lifestyle. You have to show some of the things you've achieved. You have to look at everything that you've done. A good way to do this is sit down with a pen and paper and look at everything that you've achieved that if you wrote it down and told your younger self about it, they wouldn't believe it. For me, it's wearing this fucking watch. Wearing this is the craziest shit ever. Driving the car that I drive, living on the beach where I live. All the things that I have are things that I could tell my younger self and he wouldn't fucking believe it. And so that's the kind of stuff that I need to show in my content that embodies the transformation that I'm trying to provide, embodies the life that I'm trying to help others create for themselves. And so if you're trying to provide people with the transformation of losing weight and being fit, you need to be the perfect embodiment of that transformation. If you're trying to help people with their relationships, well, you better have a relationship that embodies the perfect representation of that transformation you are trying to help people provide. In order for people to trust you, your audience needs to want to be you. So share the fruits of your labor. Share the things that you've achieved that are fucking cool. Share all of it. Even though it can feel weird for people that this naturally doesn't come to, dedicating a certain percentage of your content to flexing the things that you've been able to achieve. Even though this can feel incredibly weird if you're someone that this doesn't come naturally to, it doesn't come naturally to me to show off and share the things that I've been able to achieve. But I do it because I owe that to the person that I used to be. I owe it to the person, the younger version of me who's looking at people like me, wondering if that'll ever be possible. And as long as I've done a good enough job of relating to my audience and sharing the entire journey that it took to get here, then it's okay to share where I am today because it's inspiring to people who are on the journey. As long as you aren't one of these creators who shares this shitty story of I was depressed and broke and now I'm this millionaire and there's no gap in between, there's no believable story of transformation. As long as you don't do that, as long as you share all of the journey, then it's okay to share some of the fruits of your labor. Share some of the things you've been able to achieve on the journey to getting where you are today. Step number 4 is give them value unconditionally. No one likes a needy person. But most creators are fucking needy. They only create content because they want the likes and the engagement and views. They only send emails because they want to make money, and they only do what they do each day because they want to receive a result in return. Building a truly powerful personal brand is built on a foundation of giving unconditionally. You have to act from a place of trying to give value with no expectation of receiving anything in return. And so if you're creating content with the expectation of it creating views, you are giving conditionally. If you're sending emails with the expectation of selling, you are selling conditionally. You are trying to do things with the expectation that you're going to get something back in return. And no one likes a conditional relationship. No one likes a needy friend. No one likes a relationship where everything you receive, you have to give something back. It's like that mate who buys you a beer at the pub, but then texts you asking for $10 2 days later. It's not something that makes you feel good. And so build your brand on a foundation of giving. The whole purpose of everything that you're doing is that you're giving value to the world. And I promise, if you do this truly, if you truly make content with the sole purpose of giving value, if you build products with the sole purpose of giving value, if you do everything that you do with the sole purpose of giving, I promise it'll find its way back to you tenfold. And if you do all 4 of these things in your content, you will have a truly powerful personal brand, to the point where people won't just be excited to work with you, they will be desperate to work with you. You'll have people lining up to buy from you. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.